All right, so let me tell you about the first time I did a workshop. I was maybe 18 years old, and a friend of mine told me about this thing called EST, which is this Werner Erhard. This was back in the 70s, late 70s. And I was so screwed up. I had no self-awareness, wasn't conscious of anything other than myself. And so I went to this workshop. It's a weekend thing. And it started at 8 or 9 in the morning, and they didn't have a starting time. It basically started when it was done, and there was hundreds of people there. And I'll never forget one of the first activities we did was this trust walk. And you basically stood face to face with the rows of people. So there was maybe 100 people over here and 100 people over here, and it was completely silent. And you basically looked at each other for a second, and you either said, I trust you, or I don't trust you. So people were just vibing off of whatever they felt, and out of 200 people, probably 197 of them told me, I don't trust you. And it was really hard to take, to realize that just by people looking at me, they could gauge by, I guess now what I know is they gauged me by how I felt and how I looked, and probably the kind of like vacuous or vacant expression on my face, and no energy, and it made me really stop to think about, like, why do all these people who know nothing about me, how can they just look at me and say, I don't trust you? And I could have easily just written it off and say, oh, well, they're all just screwed up, or they don't know what they're talking about. But part of this workshop was really deep work into how you see yourself and how others see you. And so I couldn't just ignore it. And as much as it pained me, I realized that some of what they're saying was a real truth, that I was not a very trustworthy human being, and I was mean and hurtful, and I got a lot of that over that first weekend of this work. And I think what it was designed to do, it did, which is to just break you down into the rawest form of yourself, and essentially through all these processes, just break down all of your barriers and all of your excuses and all of the ways that I wanted to blame other people. And I'll never forget that experience. Here I am 50 years later telling you all about it. And so wherever you are on this journey, you have to be open to hearing those things that just hurt your heart. That hurt my heart really bad. And it also made me realize that I had some work to do, and that I could shift it. And so that's what a lot of what I'm sharing with you is all about, is how do you go from a place of complete lack of trust by those that surround you to being a loving, kind, and your most authentic self. Not that I'm there yet, so it's always going to be a practice. I don't know if I'll ever get to my complete authentic self. I just know I feel closer and closer, and today I can tell you that more people tell me they trust me and engage with me than don't. So wherever you are in your journey, keep going. No matter how hard it hurts, keep seeking, keep exploring, and just keep recognizing that everyone has the ability to do this work. And I'm not special. I'm just like all of you. I'm searching, I'm seeking. I came from a place of being a victim, and I've grown out of that. And so I know that if I can do it, that any of you can do it. So just remember to step into it. Where it's the hardest is where most of the growth is, and keep growing.